guys, this is Leticia with Vibrationality. Vibrationality is about creating a high vibration lifestyle for yourself. And the reason that you want to do that is because it will affect your physical health and general well-being from day to day. And the creating a high vibration lifestyle is about your physical health, mental, spiritual, and emotional. So this tutorial is on the emotional part of that and how our emotions do affect our physical health and day-to-day well-being. So I'm going to be using the protocol that is linked at the bottom of this video. You can download, print, or just open it and look at it and follow along if you want. There is also a diagram that I'm going to use later on. I'm going to go through some books and how to release your emotions in several different ways, but mostly with fragrance, which is amazing. So this protocol first goes over a bunch of science and a bunch of research behind how our emotions can affect our physical health. One that's really interesting is the Montreal Heart Institute found that heart attack patients with depression had a 6-month mortality rate of 16%, compared to those who didn't suffer from depression only had a 3% rate. So, and then those who also have emotional support going through sickness and things have less mortality rates as well. So being able to work with your emotions, what you don't want is you don't want those emotions to store. Now, certain emotions are linked to certain organs, and so it will weaken or cause problems in that organ, which will then cause you your physical health problems. So you don't want emotions to store. You want to be able to let emotions feel them and then release and let them just flow through you, right? Like water. So the protocol kind of goes through some basic guidelines, some science, and then it talks about the harmonic scale of emotion, which love would be the highest frequency emotion, right? And then the lowest would be anger, apathy, or just being unconscious or kind of dead with our emotions. So our emotions, I want to go through in this tutorial just to be quick. The protocol, this one's probably a longer protocol than all the rest of the classes, but when you're feeling an emotion, there's several ways of releasing, right? People like crying, yelling, people like just going for a run, working out, writing things down and then burning them, scribbling, drawing. People love doing sports. Just being in nature can definitely balance. Visualizations, mantras, music is amazing. Every person's going to have the way that they are able to release their emotions, whether they're conscious of them or not. If you have a way that you can release your emotions, then they're not storing in that organ system and going to cause you health problems later on. But one of the best and fastest, quickest, easiest ways is fragrance. Fragrance is amazing. It's the quickest way to release an emotion and have it quickly move through you so that it doesn't get stored in those organs. Once a fragrance is inhaled, there's this olfactory, you have this olfactory nerve. The reason why this is so powerful, the fragrance, is because it happens within 30 seconds or even less than a second. So once you smell something, you have this olfactory nerve and your nose picks that up, okay, which causes your nervous system to fire and send messages to the limbic portion of the brain. Now, each one of the hundreds of millions of nerve cells within this membrane is replaced every 28 days. It's on a 28-day cycle. The lining of your cells triggers the electrical impulses in this olfactory bulb, which then transmits impulses to the gustatory center, which is where taste is stored, and then into the amygdala, which is where the emotions are stored. Okay, and then there's also other parts of the limbic system of the brain which control your heart rate, your blood pressure, your breathing, your memory, stress levels, hormone balance, all of these things. And smell can trigger any of those, and it happens in less than a second. So fragrance is something that you can utilize, and we underutilize it. And so going through this emotional tutorial is about being able to use the fragrances to get feelings to move through you so they're not stored. So I am going to use, there's another study, the most fragrance that most people know about is lavender. Lavender is very calming, it's very relaxing, and there was a scientific study done over in, I think it was Japan, where they were having the keyboarding people, they were testing to see the errors of their mistakes. And when they diffused lavender, a relaxant kind of emotion, the keyboard typing errors dropped about 20%. And when exposed to jasmine, which is a floral, uplifting fragrance, the errors dropped 33%. Now, when exposed to a lemon fragrance, which is very sharp, it's refreshing, lemon is like that stimulant, the mistakes dropped by 54% just by smelling something. So it's amazing how much we can be able to clear and be able to benefit and bless our lives with just fragrance. So at the graph stored below, where you can easily, this is easy to follow if you're looking at the graph. Basically, it's going to show you that in your liver and your gallbladder and your thyroid is where anger stores. Now, if anger stores there, you're going to come up with cholesterol, higher cholesterol issues, bile production, impaired digestion, your blood issues, reducing the ability to detoxify the body, things like that. So those emotions, if you're not able to work through them and they end up getting stored, like maybe you're a passive aggressive or maybe you know people like that, they store anger, which means it's stored in their liver, and that's going to come up with liver issues or things like that your liver regulates later on in life. Same thing with, let's do lungs, skin, and large intestine. That's where grief and depression stores. So you're going to come up with lung cancers, hard breathing. Maybe when a sickness is going around, you always get hit in your respiratory, really, really bad, way worse than anybody else, and you're wondering why. It's kind of, that's where your weakness is. Maybe that's where you've got a lot of emotions stored, whatever you've gone through in your life, and that is a weak part. So those emotions are stored. So that's going to come up with breathing problems, decreased oxygen in the blood. It's also, grief and depression are also stored in your large intestines. You're going to deal with maybe more constipation or digestive issues. Fear stores in the kidney, ears, and bladder. So that's going to come up with all the kidney issues, maybe loss of energy, your nervous system, body becomes acidic, things like that. Now, in your heart and in your small intestine is where hate, cruelty, and impatience stores. So that's going to high blood pressure, chest pains, things like that. So we don't want these emotions to store in our body. Now, there's a class, and I'll put, the link is below. There's the separate classes on how to release emotions that have already been stored. So this emotional class tutorial is mostly about bringing awareness that your emotions do affect your physical health, and how to just recognize that. So when you're feeling angry, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling that? Am I picking, maybe if you're an empath, maybe you're picking it up from somebody else. It's not yours, and you need to learn to release it and let it go and move through you so it doesn't get stored. But even if you're just starting, it is really, really easy to be able to clear the negative out from those organs. So let's say you want to clear the anger from your liver. You always want to replace with something that's positive, the opposite, which would be acceptance, love, patience maybe. If you're releasing grief from your lungs, you want to replace with happiness. So how to release stored emotions class goes more through that, and that post is linked below. But we're going to go over how to use, so that you don't store your emotions anymore when you're feeling something, how to let it move through you. One is just really the awareness of it, being able to be aware of it and then say, okay, I release this. Even just saying those words, saying I release this. And then being able to use the fragrances to be able to combat or counteract those negative emotions that you're feeling. So there are there's 6 systems, like liver, gallbladder, thyroid, lungs, and large intestine, stomach and pancreas, like energy centers where the emotion stores. So we're gonna go through just each one real quick and which oil goes with each one. Okay, so this is Console. And Console is a blend is a blend of several different oils. And Console is for the liver, gallbladder, or thyroid section that combats anger. All that you're gonna do with these oils, I'm not gonna show you with each one, but all you simply have to do, remember, it only takes a second for those emotions to get stored. So if you're feeling anger, let's say you're feeling angry, you can simply just put a drop on your hand, rub your hands together, and all you have to do is smell. Remember, your olfactory is right here in your nose. That gets to your limbic system and your nervous system, and it'll release that. So you can simply say, just breathe through your nose, out your mouth, and just say release. Just say release so it doesn't get stored. So just smelling that fragrance can help it so that emotion does not get stored. Now, if you are confused on what emotion you might be feeling, there is another chart that I can link below, and you can simply come in here and say, well, I'm feeling anxious, and it'll tell you which one to use, which is great. So normally you want to just smell both those oils and see which one you gravitate to. The one that you gravitate to, the one that smells better to you, is the one that your system specifically needs for you at that time. So go that direction. If you know exactly what you're feeling, Motivate is the oil for the lungs and large intestine where grief is stored, okay? You're gonna do the same thing, just a drop, smell it, release it. The next one is Cheer. Cheer is a very uplifting blend. This is the one for the stomach and the pancreas. That's where worry stores, anxiety, things like that. If you have pancreas or stomach issues, though, you might want to look at the emotional side of that and work on clearing any stored emotions that have affected that physical organ. Forgive. Forgive is the emotional oil for the heart, brain, and small intestines. This is where stress and sorrow store. Okay, so you're going to be using that one for that section. Passion is for the kidney, bladder, and adrenals. So this is where your fear stores. This is your fight or flight, and your adrenals getting pumped all the time, which is not good. So you're going to want to calm that down and combat those emotions with this oil, the passion oil. The last one is called Peace. This peace oil is for your glands, your sexual organs. It's where you feel overwhelmed. It's very overwhelmed, or you feel worthless. Those types of emotions will store there. So any of these oils will help you move through things that you're feeling, maybe things that you deal with all the time. If you're wanting to choose just one, I would really get the Forgive. Or if you're wanting a single oil, bergamot is a great single oil for an array of emotions, most anything that you would deal with. So just simply get bergamot, put a drop on your hands, and just smell. Just 30 seconds of deep breathing in your nose and out your mouth, and just release that emotion. Don't allow it. Don't just ignore it or push it away or bury it and say it's not there and ignore it, because it is going to store in the organ it's associated with, and it will cause eventually, being stored up over time and as more and more gets stored, it is going to cause a physical problem for you. So last thing I want to go through is kind of where to put them. You can, if you sit there and just take 3 deep breaths, if it's an oil that you want to use all day, I usually put it somewhere around here or here so that you can smell it all day long and it stays on you all day long. And then the last thing I want to go over is my 3 favorite oils for emotions. Now you can go anywhere and get these, but Rose, the essential oil of Rose, and the essential oil of Neroli, and the essential oil of Melissa. These are the 3 biggest oils for your emotional center, which is your heart center. So these are the 3 oils for your heart, your emotional heart center, and that's going to release whatever it is as well. I mean, the section for Rose in any book is going to be huge. Rose has so many good properties, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's great for the lungs. It's great for the skin, like eczema, prevents scarring, helps cholesterol. It's great for any of your lungs, like I said. It enhances the frequency of every cell, bringing into balance and harmony into the body, which is what we're going for. We're going for balance and for harmony, creating that high vibration lifestyle, and in turn, creating health for you for the rest of your life. The aromatic influences of rose are stimulating and elevating to the mind. It creates a sense of well-being, helps release past hurts, which is what we're going for, and brings feelings of love. And all you have to do is smell it. Like, even if you don't even want to put it on, you could open something in the bottle and just take deep breaths and just smell it. Remember, because we're working with the olfactory nerve right there. You don't even have to put it on. You can sit here and just smell any of these oils, and it will help release all of that. So the rose essential oil is amazing. The diagram at the bottom is going to help you. If you want to, this is a great book. It has a guide at the back that will show you what emotions go with what physical conditions, so that you can start to release those. Flower essences are also amazing for emotions. So the emotional well-being inside of ourselves definitely comes into play with your mental health, your physical health, and your spiritual health. And just 30 seconds and just deep breathing 3 times can release all of that. So if you are curious on how to release maybe past trauma, from when you were little and when you were young, things that have been stored that you might not know about. If you have stomach issues all the time, look at the emotions behind the stomach and click on the link below for the post that talks about how to release those. So happy emotional well-being for all of you. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps. Have a good day.